An act that's proven to be as divisive as the figure brought down. The toppling of slave trader Edward Colston's statue in Bristol last year could now mean a change in the law. Writing in the Sunday Telegraph, Community Secretary Robert Jenrick is vowing to protect historic statues and monuments, stopping them from being removed without going through a formal planning process. What has stood for generations should be considered thoughtfully, not removed on a whim or at the behest of a baying mob. We cannot and should not try to edit or censor our past. At the heart of liberal democracies is a belief that history should be studied and not censored. From Sir Winston Churchill to Robert Clive in Shrewsbury to Robert Dundas in Edinburgh, the new law changes will throw a protective ring around 12,000 statues and memorials. Some have become increasingly controversial. Last summer, during London's Black Lives Matter protests, Sir Winston Churchill's statue was covered up after being vandalised by demonstrators. In Oxford, a campaign to remove the statue of Cecil Rhodes has led to a review. He's seen as an imperialist whose continued presence for some is a source of anger. This London museum decided to retain its statue of merchant slave trader Sir Robert Jeffrey following a public consultation. Although many, including cultural historian Patrick Vernon, still want it removed.
I find it quite offensive because it gives the impression that people who are work militants are mobs. I'm not a mob, you know, and it gives the impression that there is no intellectual thought or process and rationale. And there's been lots of research work done for many decades on the legacy of empire and the legacies of enslavement. I wish the minister would look at some key books and some key research documents before they make that decision.
Many councils and museums have been reviewing their assets following the Black Lives Matter movement. Professor Sir Jeff Palmer says these proposals will help change attitudes for the better.
We cannot remove them. We cannot remove our history. We are removing the story of our ancestors. That's how I see it. And they're not here. So it's our responsibility to protect their legacy. The next statue that comes down in our country should be racism. Until that comes down, all the other statues should stay.
Some of these statues have been contentious, but they have started conversations about confronting British history. Ashna Harinag, Sky News.